Hey guys, it's Kemmerer, and today I'm going to be doing my February TBR. So I've only been on BookTube for like 2 months now, but if you've been following me at all, you might realize by now I am not very good at following TBRs. I decided that I'm not going to try too hard to get to a lot of books that I've been wanting to get to forever, but just talk about books that I'm the most excited to and hope to get to in the month of February. I decided to pick out 12 books instead of the lower number of 7 that I did last month because I want to have as many books as possible that I can actually read on this TBR rather than just not feeling like reading the books that are on my TBR and picking out other books. There are a lot of books that I want to talk about, so let's get into it. So the first 5 books that I want to talk about are going to be attached to my monthly goals. So every month I want to read 1 classic, 1 historical fiction, 1 science fiction, 1 mystery/thriller novel, and 1 book over 800 pages, which is most likely going to be always a high fantasy, but can be anything because I read so much high fantasy as it is. So for the classic book that I want to read this month, I'm going to read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have been wanting to read this book for so long. It was on my January TBR, but I ended up pushing it back to February, and I think February is a really good month for this book because it is a classic romance novel basically, and so many people really love this book, especially people who don't like classics end up loving this book. So I definitely think this could be one of my favorites, and I'm definitely excited to finally get to it. For my historical fiction novel, I want to read The Great Alone by Kristin. So last year I read The Nightingale by Kristin, and I really liked it. I love Kristin writing style, and I love how she develops her characters, so I'm definitely excited to see the same type of writing style and character development in The Great Alone. This is following a family who decides to live in the Alaskan wilderness after their father comes home from Vietnam, so definitely an interesting premise and an author that I already know that I really like, so I'm really hoping to love this book. For the sci-fi book this month, I want to read Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey. This is the second novel in the Expanse series. I read Leviathan Wakes, which is the first novel in this series, last month, and I absolutely loved it. It is definitely one of my favorite books ever, and I'm so excited to continue on with this series, so I am definitely excited for this one. If I don't start this one today, I will definitely be starting it over the course of the next couple of days, so you can definitely expect to see this one in my vlogs coming up soon. For my mystery/thriller novel, I want to read The Outsider by Stephen King. I haven't had the best experience with Stephen King in the past, but he's an author that I really want to love, so I'm hoping that I will love The Outsider. From all the people that I've heard that have actually read this book, most of them really love it, so I'm definitely excited to get to this one as well. I don't know anything about this book. I think that's a really good way to go into these types of books, so I'm definitely excited to see what it's about too. And for the 800+ page book that I wanted to get to, it is going to be a high fantasy, and that is Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. This is the second novel in the Live Ship Traders series. I read the first novel in this series last month, Ship of Magic, and absolutely loved it. Probably my favorite novel that I've read so far for the year, so I'm definitely excited to get to the next book in the series. So continuing on to the rest of the books that I am so excited to hopefully get to in the month of February, the next book that I want to read is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. This is the Everyman's Library 3-book omnibus edition, so all 3 books in the series are in this one edition. I don't know if I'm going to read all 3 books in the series because that's a lot of reading. It's like over 1,000 pages, so I don't know if I'll get to all 3, but I definitely want to at least start it and hopefully read all of the first book in the series. This is a children's classic fantasy book, which is so much fun, and I've never read it. I've never even heard anything about this series really. I know there's a movie based on the series. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm definitely excited to get to these because this is definitely a very beloved series, and I don't know anything about it, so I want to read these really badly, so hopefully I'll get to these this month. So there are 3 YA books that I'm really excited to get to this month. The first one is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I don't know very much about this book. All I know is that it's written in verse, and I've always wanted to read a book that was written in verse. I've never read one before, and I've heard this one is really good. There's so much hype for this one on BookTube right now. This is a library book, by the way, so I just borrowed this from the library, and I'm definitely excited to get to this one. Actually, I borrowed a lot of books from the library. I have a library book haul coming up soon, which you guys will see, so you'll probably see a lot of those in my vlogs, but this is one that I'm really excited to get to and should be getting to very soon. The next YA book that I'm definitely really excited for is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I read the Strange the Dreamer duology last year and fell in love with Laini Taylor's writing style, so I'm so excited to get to read more of her books. And The Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy is like one of her first books that got really big, so I figured this would be a really good place to start, and I'm excited to see what it's about. I actually don't know anything about this book other than it was written by Laini Taylor, so I'm excited to see what it's about, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna love it. The last YA book that I want to read this month is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. Bridget Kemmerer is one of my favorite YA authors. I read her other two books, Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell, last year. I gave them both 5 stars. Both of those are contemporary books, but this is a fantasy book. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which is really all I know about it. I've read a couple Beauty and the Beast retellings in the past, and I didn't really like any of them. I personally don't like the story of Beauty and the Beast all that much, and in the retellings, I feel like the Beast can get very abusive and violent at times, which I don't like, but I trust Bridget Kemmerer as an author, so I think this has the potential to be really good. And I'm definitely excited to see her kind of step out of her comfort zone and see how she does with this one. So I'm definitely excited to read this one as well. The next book that I'm so excited for is an adult fantasy book, and it is a very popular one here on BookTube, and that is The Byrne, the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. I don't know very much about this book at all. All I know is that it is a fantasy book set in the Russian wilderness during the winter time, and I've heard that it's really good to read during the winter time, so I wanted to get to this one while it was still cold outside and not wait till later in the year. So I've heard people really love this book, but no one really talks about what actually happens in this book, so I'm excited to see what happens. I like going into my books blind, so I'm definitely okay with that. I want to see what it is, and I hope that I really like it because so many people on BookTube love this book. I'm really hoping that I like it. The last book that I want to try and get to this month is very different from all the other books that I've mentioned. I got this book as a Christmas present, and it is a historical romance novel. It's not my normal genre. I don't normally pick that up. I have done it in the past. I've read some of these in the past. I enjoyed them. I didn't love them. I didn't hate them. So I figured if I'm gonna read a romance novel at any time of the year, February is probably a good time to read it. So I'm going to pick up The Duke with the Dragon Tattoo by Kerrigan Byrne. I'm pretty sure the title is the reason why this was bought for me, because everyone knows that I want to read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I haven't read yet, by the way, and I should definitely read, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna like this one, but I'm hoping that I will. So those are all the books that I plan to read in the month of February. I probably will have more books than that because I do read audiobooks to supplement my physical book reading, and of course there are going to be unwrapped books that I'm going to try to get to during the month of February as well. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. I post videos every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. I'm now on Instagram as well as Goodreads, so links to those are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!